Hi guys, welcome to watching my Thang learning channel episode number 3. So today I thought of sharing with all of you a little bit about the difference between the perception value and also the actual value. Now what does that mean? In the consumerism world, in any products that you buy, there's always two types of value. The first type of value is called the actual value, which means the real value of the product. And the second type of value is called the perception value. And perception value means what the consumer thinks the value of the product is. So perception value doesn't equal to the actual value, right? So it is most of the time affected by emotions or what you feel about the product. Maybe I just pour coffee into a very fancy tumbler and I would perceive it as a very good quality coffee, right? So what I'm trying to do here is link it to the real estate market. In the real estate market, in properties, whenever a buyer or seller wants to buy or sell a property, they always ask the question of what is the market value. And in the true fact is that market value is just one type of the value. There are two types of value. The first type we call the market value, and then there's also something called the bank value. And as an investor, we have to understand the difference between the market value and the bank value. So market value, basically, again, it is depending on affected by emotions. Basically, it just means the highest value that buyer would be willing to pay, and and also a value that the seller is willing to accept. Or in other words, it's just an agreement or terms where the buyer and seller come together agree on a certain price of the value. And that doesn't mean that the property actual value is that, right? So sometimes it can be very affected by emotions, because during hot market or maybe when the property is booming, maybe the owner is very confident of the value of the property and they sell it at a high value. And as a buyer, you might end up buying a property value that is higher in price. So that is market value. Now bank value, on the other hand, bank value is actually a value that is given by a professional body called the valuer. So to measure the value or to come up with a proper value of a property, there is a certain procedure. So the valuer, which is a licensed body, will actually go through certain factors to come up with actual value of the property. And some of the factors that they look into will be what is the recent transaction of the deals of the properties nearby that property that they are looking in. And then they also look at the condition, the number of years for the lease, in terms of if it's leasehold, what is the remaining years, and then the surrounding facilities, to come up with a valuation report. So with that report, they will pass it to the bank, and they will then summarize on a actual bank value of the property. So that is bank value. And there's a lot of misconception out there between people were taught that market value is the value of the property. So this is something that we need to take note as an investor. Let's say, let me just give an example. The owner says that the property value is 700k. So me as an investor, let's say I'm entitled a 90% loan. So I was under the assumption that this property is at 700k, and then apply a loan, I would get 630k loan, right? But after the valuation process, then you realize that, hey, the value of the property is just at 650k, for example, right? And 90% loan margin of the 650k equivalents to 585, which means that I'm not getting a loan of 630k. That means if I want to proceed, I might have to fork out with my own down payment, a little bit more down payment. Either that, or I have to go back to the owner for further negotiation. So that is why it is important for us to understand the difference between market value and also bank value. Alright, so the next time you want to buy a property, make sure you look into what the buyer wants, and also check with their the bank value of the property before proceeding to that purchase. Alright, so that's all for my sharing. It's a very brief sharing on a Friday night. The valuation of property and the difference between market value and also bank value. Now here's the bonus part. I've summarized 5 main criteria of valuation, which means that to determine a value of the property, the valuer usually will look at 5 factors. The first one is location, the second one is accessibility of that property, the third one is amenities, and then fourth one is surrounding transacted price, and also the fifth one, the facilities of that property. Alright, so thank you very much for watching, and stay tuned for my next week Thang Learning channel. Bye bye.